evening, everyone. I want to thank you all, first of all. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you all, first of all, for opening your imagination and for allowing me to speak on behalf of thousands of kids and families who've been touched by this amazing organization. I'm here today because 16 years ago, I was fortunate enough to have my wish granted. It was made possible by so many volunteers like yourselves and donors like you. And I want to explain how it altered my life in so many ways. You see, my name is Brizzi. I'm 34 years old. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Stephanie, here. She deserves it. She needs a lot of patience to be married to a guy like me, let me tell you. I come from a very old school Italian family. I have two older brothers, Dominic and Frank, and we're all 2 years apart from each other. My parents, Nick and Angela, are here tonight. They raised me like any other child. Thank you. Now, thank you. While I've had an incredibly supportive, family who filled my world with lots of love and lots of Italian food, my brothers were very competitive, and they didn't take it easy on me. My mother and father, though, they wanted to keep us active in sports, no matter how sick I got. So that's exactly what they did. And they also supported my love of the arts. I played guitar. I took a lot of guitar lessons, and I always wanted to be the lead part in the school plays. I'd find myself performing monologues in the mirror. Well, my father, he instilled in us a kind of like no victim mentality. He would say to me, if you want to achieve something in life, anything's possible. He would say, like Nike, just do it. Or son, you're not a victim, you can do it. And I want to thank him for this, because it's that outlook that kept me alive and has allowed me to tell my story to all of you. However, sometimes, even with a no-quit attitude and an incredibly strong foundation behind me, it didn't prevent the things that cystic fibrosis was doing to me. You see, I was born with a genetic condition called cystic fibrosis. It predominantly affects the lungs. I was diagnosed when I was around 2 years old, and I've lived for 33 years, taking 3 to 4 nebulizers a day, doing 3 to 4 chest physiotherapy treatments, an hour each, every day, just to spit enough mucus out so that my lungs wouldn't get infected. Now, sometimes that wouldn't even help. My infections got so bad that I'd have to spend 2 to 3 weeks at a time on IV antibiotics in the hospital. We call those tune-ups. During one of those tune-ups, however, my favorite nurse, Rosa, presented me with the idea of contacting Make-A-Wish. She said I was eligible. I knew pretty much right away what I wanted to do. I wanted to meet someone that I emulated, someone that I looked up to, someone that, like I said earlier, I used to perform his monologues in the mirror, or say his lines from his recent movies. Someone I knew that if I met this guy, I thought maybe it would inspire me to pursue something I always dreamt of. I wanted to meet Mr. Joe Pesci. For a young guy like me at 16 years old, 17 years old, being able to do something like this seemed impossible. But Make-A-Wish, they made that possible for me. Now, my mother, my father, my grandparents, we all got to fly to New York for about a week. We spent an absolutely perfect trip. We saw Tony and Tina's wedding. We had an itinerary full of dinners. We toured Little Italy, and it became a family reunion for me as well. I got to meet my grandfather's sister, Aunt Maria, and her kids, my second and third cousins that I didn't even know existed. Then came that special night with Mr. Pesci. We ended up going to one of his favorite restaurants called La Scalinatella. When Joe came in minutes after us, he hugged and embraced me like as if I was his family and I'd known him all my life. It made me feel so special. He was so incredibly gracious, humble, hysterical, totally down to earth. Him and my father, they really hit it off that night. We ordered everything on the menu, and he didn't just come and spend a few minutes with us, autograph or get some press. He wanted none of that. He stayed for about 5 hours, and we shared stories about the acting business and secrets of Hollywood secrets I swore to this day I would never reveal. When I left that restaurant that night, I was literally on cloud 9. I had completely forgotten about my cystic fibrosis. In fact, that may have been the only night that I was proud to have it. I had the best time in my life with Joe and my family that night, and we made memories that will stick with me forever. I don't think I laughed harder than I ever did that night. And I was so inspired and I was so mesmerized by his stories and his successes that I knew one thing for sure. I knew one day I was going to pursue a career in the entertainment business as an actor. And that's exactly what I did. See, that's the power of a wish, guys. My wish, it spiraled into something much, much bigger than that night at La Scalinatella. It gave me the strength to continue the fight against cystic fibrosis. It triggered a domino effect that propelled my life to go a certain way. Now, my wish led me to an acting competition in New York. It eventually led me to signing with an agent in Los Angeles, then moving to Los Angeles. It led me to my career as an actor and as a realtor, now as a producer of my own documentary. And in a lot of ways, it led me to marry my beautiful wife, Stephanie. My wish, it changed my life forever. And that's what wishes do, not just for me, but for thousands of wish kids over the last 30 years. It didn't take away the challenges, of our illness, of course not, and we still have that cross to bear. But it helped me see possibilities I couldn't see before. I needed my wish. I needed to face the toughest battle in my life. Because in the past few years, things got pretty bad for me. I had a lot of serious issues with my lungs. I was on oxygen 24/7. I couldn't walk 50 feet without spitting blood. My only chance of survival was living near Stanford Hospital, where I had to relocate. And if I wasn't in Los Angeles, that would have never been possible. But I'm proud to say, though, 7 months ago, on October 17th, 2015, thanks to my donor, I received a surviving double lung transplant. Thank you. I'm here with you tonight because of my wish. It was something my whole family needed. They needed to see the possibilities of my future. And I needed to share with them the hope and the strength that that wish brought to me. And that's not just true for me, but it's true for every single kid who gets a wish. And I want to say something to my parents who are here tonight, and actually all the parents out there. I thank you because you taught us to have hope. You taught us to have strength and joy when we needed it most. No matter how tough the situation got, you allowed Make-A-Wish into our lives. And it doesn't stop there. Our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our nurses, our community members, doctors, everyone, all you donors, you made the impossible dream a possibility for us when we needed it most. And because of you, over 13,000 wish kids over the past 30 years have experienced this hope, this strength, this joy, because of your love for us. And now on behalf of every wish kid that's still here with us and those we hold dear in our hearts, I want to thank you all. And I want to invite you all to see what 30 years of wishes look like.
My name is Danny Rodriguez. In 1988, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I wasn't expected to live long.
My name is Kara Cutchins. I was diagnosed when I was 3 with a brain tumor. In 1993, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and that was the first of 7 cancers that I've had.
I was diagnosed in 4th grade with stage 4 neuroblastoma. It was a tumor that was inside of my belly, around my liver and kidneys.
I got a half a heart, so I had to have 6 open heart surgeries.
In 1989, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Eosinophilic gastrointestinal disease. I was 10 years old when I was diagnosed.
I was diagnosed in 2011 with ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I remember a lot of crying, and the first question that I asked apparently was, am I going to die?
My wish was to go to Disney World.
My wish was to meet Rey Mysterio.
My wish was to have a shopping spree at Mall of America.
My wish was to play golf at Pebble Beach with my dad and my 2 uncles.
My wish was to go to New York Fashion Week.
My
wish was to meet Benny the Bull and meet Joking Noah.
My wish was to meet the cast of Good Morning America. I think like princesses and superheroes, and I was like, I want to be a journalist.
My wish was to go to Hawaii and swim with dolphins and go whale watching and horseback ride. I started really small. I wanted to go to a small restaurant that we maybe go to every week for dinner. It's like, I want to do that. And they were like, think bigger. Let's think bigger here.
One thing I like is they get to know the child and they make sure it's the child's wish. They get to know what it is that they want, and it makes it just special.
It was literally a dream come true. It was just awesome, like a really awesome time for me and my family.
It was an amazing experience, and I loved every second.
It was such a tremendous experience for me while going through the process. I instantly gravitated to Make-A-Wish as my way to give back.
Make-A-Wish is an amazing organization.
I think it's a really good organization. Like I might get a job here or something after college. It's like a good group of people because they make people's wishes come true and stuff.
I think it was one of those things whenever I was feeling really sorry for myself, which is super easy to do when you're a sick kid, I'd sort of remember my wish and that would make me feel better.
And these kids need some happiness in their life. They go through a lot. They're in the hospital. She'd be in the hospital for weeks at a time.
You know, I was 16 and I was bald and in high school, and that sucks. And you have this thing that's just for you. It was the thing for me that put my whole life back together.
The wish just gets them, out and see the world, and you view it through different eyes. And it makes you motivated to do what you have to do, and you hope you can live long enough to do more of these things. And I think that's what happened to Katie. Katie was a very bright person who lived life to the fullest, and she really did. She was a connector of friends and people, and unfortunately at her wake, which was just a few months ago, there was probably over 700 people. I think she knew she had a short life, so she wasn't afraid, and she was going to volunteer and do everything she could. And I think there's something very nice about it.
The cancer changed my life in one way. It pulls you so far off the track. And Make-A-Wish was the thing that got me back.
It made a huge difference at the time, and it made a huge difference for the rest of my life. I couldn't imagine what my life would be like without Make-A-Wish.
They make these wishes magical.
Christopher Coppella.
86. Jason Manson.
1988. Danny Rodriguez.
1989.
BJ Achai.
Danny Carlisle. 1993.
What I wish for times 10 million.
Make-A-Wish is sort of like that shining light at the end of the tunnel.
The most amazing experience. It's so close to my heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause.